hopefully you'll understand the lyrics, is that it talks about God, of course, but how He's always whispering to us, He's always trying to pull us towards Him, that we were only but to listen, we will go to Him. But instead we choose to go to people who themselves don't know what they're doing, or they think they know, but something is wrong, that we look it in things, in places, or in whatever it may be. But this song reminds us always that that we are a saint, a potential saint. Within us there is a saint, and we had to wake up to that reality, that when we listen to the whispers of God, we can find that. And of course this song, for those who already guessed, is called God's Call Within. And I'll do my best to sing it. It's a little high. I'm supposed to be the choir director and the expert musician, supposed to be. Listen, listen, whispering within your soul, hints of laughter, hints of joy, sweet songs of sadness, of quenchless yearning for the light, for my love, your true home. Long your heart has played the dancer, long you've toyed with mirror's shadows of the treasures left behind you, deep in your soul. Long you plumbed the dark for answers, long you begged from beggars' empty hands, gifts of life they too were seeking, gifts none could share. Friend, how long will you wander? Friend, as long as you seek your home in a land where all are strangers, love locks her door. Live to the weak his grave, and life to the coward live his dreaming. Oh, my saint, wake up, reclaim the light, seek the truth behind all seeming. Live to the weak his grave, and life to the coward live his dreaming. Oh, my saint, wake up, reclaim the light, seek the truth behind all seeming. Turn, turn, turn within, in silence of soul, in cave of love, find my abode. Listen, listen, whispering within your soul, hints of laughter, hints of joy, sweet songs of sadness, of quenchless yearning for the light, for my love, your true home. Something that's beautiful about this song is that really God speaking to us directly, and that's how you should see this song, that God is telling you what to do, how to find Him. And in a way it resembles the Gita as well, because Krishna, representing God himself, is also telling us exactly what we have to do to find him, to find liberation. And today we're going to read from the 5th chapter, the 15th stanza. The all-pervading is not concerned about people's sins or virtues. Wisdom, though it is the natural state of every man, is eclipsed by cosmic delusion. Mankind thus becomes bewildered as to the difference between right and wrong. Now, I love how right away it says God doesn't care about your virtues or your faults, that he doesn't really mind. And Yogananda used to say, God doesn't mind your faults, he only minds your indifference. And it's so amazing how much we ourselves dwell in our faults. Or sometimes we dwell too much in our successes. I'm working in a little chanting booklet, for example, and it's funny because we had the first copy just as a test, and I was kind of excited about it. I was looking at it all nicely and skipping through and showing to people that it wasn't, of course, I wasn't trying to boast or anything, but delusion can be tricky sometimes, that sometimes we are really, anything can really get us, something good and something bad. But God really doesn't care if we do mistakes, if we are the best singer in the world, the best chanting booklet maker in the world, or whatever it may be. He doesn't really care at all. All that he wants is our love. And on those lines, there is that line of Master that is all, it can go into a huge discussion, and I'm not intending to, that he said, what did he say? The only free will that we have is to turn towards God or to reject him. That's the only free will that human beings have. And yes, it can again go into a long discussion. But of course, what does this mean? Also in a practical level or in another level. Imagine there is a situation. Now, if the Yogananda say, to remember God, or what does it mean? Like you have option A or B, and you tell, no, I'm going to do neither of them. I'm just going to sit and meditate and remember God. Of course, it doesn't mean that. Of course, we should always remember God, but sometimes that might be the right solution, actually. But more often than not, you don't have that. You had to make decisions right away. So what does this also mean? That the only free will that we have is to basically do good or evil. That any situation we can take the right path or the wrong path. And this becomes very tricky, because then it becomes up to the devotee to feel what is the right path, to try to attune himself to the higher reality to see what it is, what is the right path. And the beauty of the spiritual path is that it is also relative to every individual. That, as you know, we are climbing a ladder in the spiritual path, or a mountain, or whatever. And if you are up here or down here, the right thing also is different. But always ask yourself, what is the right thing in any situation? The right thing meaning, what are the things that are going to make me channel more the divine, remember God, all those things, but also express those godly qualities, the quality of joy, the quality of kindness, the quality of understanding. That is very easy to slip down. It is that's what it's called, it's very easy to just roll down the mountain, but climb it takes effort. So in that sense, don't mind your faults, don't mind your mistakes, because even you can use as a stepping stone to learn more. That is the beauty of it, that for devotees, no matter what they do, it's always a chance to learn something new. If you made a mistake, yes, learn from it and don't do it again. God doesn't mind your mistakes, but he minds if you keep repeating it over and over again because, it's okay, it doesn't matter. No. Learn from them. Or if you succeed in your test, instead of boasting, see how strong I am, delusion, I have conquered you. No, say, thank you for the strength for overcoming. let's move on, let's move forward, let's gain that strength and always use it for more. And then, of course, in the Gita here, Krishna was saying he says, wisdom is our true state. It is our real state, our natural state, he said. And of course, wisdom, as we all know, doesn't mean intellectually knowing things. It doesn't have to do almost anything with the mind, actually. That knowing of right and wrong is our natural state. That knowing of God, it is our natural state. But again, it gets blocked by cosmic delusion. It gets blocked by our desires, our likes and dislikes, attachments. And you see that more often than not, when the situation comes, turn towards God or away from Him. The only thing that prevents you to just do the right thing, or mostly, is your desires and your attachments. Isn't it so? That's what always happens. So, a lot of the spiritual path, or the main thing of the spiritual path, is overcome the ego by getting rid of our desires and our attachments. And for this, I want to use a little story, that Brahmachari Devendra told 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to repeat it anyway because probably you all forgot about it already. And it is the story of a hunter who became a saint. And this is said to have happened in ancient Bengal. There was this hunter who his life was all about hunting birds. Not for food, but for sport. That he will go in the forest and kill so many birds for fun that the whole forest was littered with birds. And he found his joy somehow in this. And this went on for some time, till the point that the birds, even though they are not very smart sometimes, they became very smart, and they will flee away from him. Even from miles away, they could see that he was coming, and they will all go away. And this, of course, made the hunter furious. Imagine, it was his life, and he was all enraged and shooting everywhere, and to unleash a little bit, to cool off, chill down a little bit. And okay, when he was calm somewhat, he started walking through the forest. Again, no birds were outside. And he go to a little lake, to a small lake in the forest. And he saw there was a man in an orange robe, a sadhu, who was there bathing. But that didn't interest him very much, of course, you can imagine. What interested him was that all the birds were all around him. They were around him, swimming all about him, that he could barely move because all the birds were attracted to him, to his magnetism. And this made the hunter very happy, you can imagine. And then he was a smart man, so he decided, I wonder what if I myself dress in an orange robe and pretend that I'm an innocent sadhu, a swami, and I go to the lake. I wonder if the birds will also come to me. And then when they are there, I can just start again shooting and all that. So then he went home, and the next day he disguised himself in the orange robe, and he started hiding all knives and guns all around him, and like that. And he went to the water. And then what happened? What do you think happened? Well, the birds started coming to him. And he was the happiest man in the world. But every time he wanted to get his knife and kill one or start shooting at another one, somehow within himself he felt, oh no, but I cannot betray them. He started feeling guilty. He started feeling guilt. And that went on for hours. That he wanted to pounce at one and he couldn't, because his mind was in that process. No, they are trusting me and I'm about to betray them. Again, that whisper of God that comes when you are somewhat in silence, I guess. Through that guilt, I guess, to that loyalty that he felt, he was really becoming transformed. And he started analyzing his life and how he was a horrible person, always killing birds. And then he started to even think further, imagine, just the outward garb of a saint was powerful enough for the birds to come to him, even though he was like a wolf clothed as a sheep. And he started saying, imagine if a saint has this power over some birds, what power must they have over more intelligent beings like humans? What power they must have to transform? And you can see he has been transformed just by imitating the saint a little bit. So he decided to drop all his weapons and just go and decided to become a saint. And it is said that he did become a saint, and he was very well known because he was the bird's best friend all the time. And what does this story tell us? In our quest to overcome delusion, in our quest to overcome our little faults here and there, some bigger, some smaller, that, some people they feel they are not loving. Some people they feel they are not generous. Some people they may feel like they don't have devotion. Well, if we want to be generous, what this story tells us is better to at least pretend you're generous and start giving things, or if that is your way to being generous, to start giving. Even the outward act of it can help you slowly break those mental habits that you have, and to overcome that greediness and become more generous. That if sincerely you are trying to change yourself, it is okay that even though you may not feel it yet, the generous spirit, even though by doing the outward act and with that desire of changing yourself, it will be putting energy in the right direction. So many times we have to use that trick to overcome delusion, that we already sometimes we have to say, yes, watching TV, I have overcome you. I don't like you anymore. Get away. And even though we are feeling like, oh my God, there's that program at 5 o'clock. I don't want to go to the satsang, Even then, it is better if you are not fully feeling it yet to do the right thing. Because listen, some people may call it being hypocrite. But do you prefer that somebody is greedy and ungenerous? Or that they are generous even though they still may not feel it, as long as they are working on it? Never tell yourself, oh, I'm being false to myself. If you really are trying to develop a good quality, go for it. Even starting outwardly, it can be a good thing. Now, if you are trying to develop devotion, don't just start like, oh, I love you, like just outwardly like that. No, that doesn't work. But think about it. Think how you can put some opposite energy to anything that you are trying to develop. And remember, the beautiful thing about the spiritual path, again, is as you climb the ladder, you start to realize that things that were good for you before, they're not good for you anymore. That sometimes, at the spiritual path at the beginning, we feel like we need to talk to everybody, for example. This question, that question, and then hang out with people and this and that. And at the beginning, that's all right. You need that boost. But the more you go, you realize, well, I'll understand it. Oh, this doesn't matter so much. My understanding will grow as I go inside. And you start to realize that things start changing, and you have to see what are those things that you need to develop. And the other secret that I wanted to say before I go too much over my time is that, as you know, I've been helping people with their harmonium or with the choir for some time now. And it always, actually, recently we went to Calcutta and we started a new singing group over there. And I had forgotten how hard it was to start a singing group, because everybody starts singing wrong and this and that. And it was a lot of fun, and we all enjoyed the process anyway. And in the harmonium, it's the same thing. People cannot press the keys, they cannot do this, they cannot do that. But there is one of the students that has come to all the classes, has been practicing, has been the perfect student so far, I could say. And it's incredible how much he's advanced in such a short time. That he can play chants easily, that he can sing in tune mostly, just because of that constant effort. That many times we realize that things start going a little astray in our life, and you realize, oh, it's because I loosen my willpower, and I should be being more strict to my sadhana or to my spiritual practice or to this particular thing that I know brings my energy up. And a lot of time, that is the simplest solution. That check, am I being constant in my spiritual practice, in this and that? And then more important, and I will conclude with this in a second, not yet, because I wanted to read the next stanza. The 5:16. In those, however, who have banished ignorance by wisdom, the true self shines forth like an effulgent sun. Effulgent sun? Effulgent sun. That those who have overcome, the main difference between them and us is that there is more light shining. That attunement with the Guru, with the Divine, is so perfect that it's not them anymore. There is something else that shines to them, and that's why we are attracted to them, because it's not them. It is our highest potential. And in these harmonium classes, what happens very often is that, people sing out of tune. You play a C and they may sing an F or whatever, for those who know what I'm talking about. But it is amazing to see that when I'm singing, the harmonium is playing, and they are trying, and then when they hit the right note, there is such harmony that happens that you can feel it all around you. Like, it is like magic that happens. And so it is with us, with the Guru, with the spiritual path, that we always had to, our attunement, our understanding. Yes, we made mistakes, we succeed a little bit until bam, it just resonates, that you know what you have to do, that you know the right way. And when that attunement comes, in whatever way, in whatever direction, then the light shines through you. That I love how it is said in this book, that it says, so live as if your God himself needed of you his life to live, for so in truth he does. That Master, the Gurus, God, we had to live their life, not outwardly but inwardly, that they need us to live them. They need us to be their channel. And then the light comes, and then all desires vanish. Everything vanishes when we have them. So we have to aspire more and more, that every day, before you go to bed, tell yourself, not so much, how much have I meditated today? Have I done my energization 4 times? Have I done this? More, tell yourself, how much have I felt God inside of me today? How much was I able to channel his joy, his light to other people? Those are the things that really last. Those are the things that really change us. And yes, of course, meditation helps us feel that, don't get me wrong. But meditation without that feeling, there is not much point. So every time, aspire more and more to be a channel for Master, for the Gurus, and then we live in bliss. Om.